Talk about next is this interview that we did not long ago with Jace from Touch by Cannabis. And this is an organic boutique grower here in the state of Oklahoma by way of Colorado. Good friend of mine. Listen, just check it out. You'll like it. Hey guys, Perry Jones III, PJ3, checking in with you. We're sitting down, getting ready to speak with Jace, what Touch by Cannabis. You don't want to miss this. So we got Jace here, good friend of mine. We've known each other now about 5 years. Yeah. Actually helped me to get started into the industry. And now he is in our state with his brand called Touch by Cannabis. So like Jace, thank you for taking the time to get ready to introduce yourself and like expand on our friendship and all this good stuff, man. I'm proud of you, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for talking with me, Perry.
Definitely. Everybody always wants to know these things, and that's what I want to get from you, right? And so the first one is like, how did you get started in this industry?
Cannabis has been in my family since the 30s. So it's been something that it's always been in my family growing up for generations. My great-grandfather grew cannabis to support our family. He was a coal miner in Colorado. Okay. And so that was one of those things that was supplemental income. I guess it's kind of natural that we ended up here.
How did you come up with what your standard is?
When I started growing plants and more of them, I just realized this is a manufacturing process that needs to be sustainable and reproducible and maintain that level of quality all the way start to finish. I've been growing cannabis for 17 years now. When I first started growing cannabis, I was a fighter jet mechanic and a satellite mechanic. And so I did it as a hobby and for my own personal medicine.
Right.
And that just kind of evolved into this passion that I have now.
17 years. Jeez. All right. I love that. That says a lot, like commitment, consistency, you know, and really taking the time to find, like you said, medicine. So you've been medicating yourself for a while now. Who are you now? That's who you were when you started in this industry. Who is Jace now?
Well, as that passion progressed, we became caregivers for children with cancer. And so we've always been patient advocates and educators, and I think that's still who we are today. It's in a different state than we started in that has all new new ways that this plant needs to be used. So over 17 years of cultivation, I've tried every style of growing there is. So I've done deep water culture, I've done hydroponics, I've done soil containers, I've done no-till in beds, and what I've really come to understand and have a focus in is Korean natural farming or natural farming in itself. And so that's where the natural portion of the NICE acronym comes in, because as I've continued this educational path, it's brought me to the point that I need to bring nature into my grow to provide the best that this plant can do. We can adjust environments and we can do those things, but if we're feeding in the same way nature does, one, it's safe in consumption because of the lack of pesticides or fertilizers that are used. And it's also cost efficient and affordable.
What do you think will be the future of your style and your product?
I'd like to see the future of this style expanded upon throughout the industry because, one, we utilize a lot of consumables in this industry. If we're throwing away medium or we're using water-soluble salts that can contaminate waterways, those are all ways that this process can be improved on along the way of being affordable for a business owner. Because this is a very expensive industry to be in, any way that I can teach people to be more affordable and more sustainable, those are ways that I feel that it's beneficial in not just the product that's produced, but in the cost of doing that. I believe that there's a point where the people who are growing the product get a fair market price for what they're growing, and all the way through that the end user and patient isn't being gouged for a product that isn't the quality that they want, or it's radically marked up to an unaffordable medicine.
Right.
When it comes back to the name of our business, right? It comes back to the name of it that is Touched by Cannabis, and that's because we felt we're touching people's lives through what we're doing with this plant.
Man, Jace, listen, I can't wait to show everybody everything that you've got here. Guys, make sure to get out and check out Jason, Touched by Cannabis. He's not only a dear friend of mine, but he is a person who is actually impacting the world and doing it in a multitude of ways. So thank you for your impact on this world. Thank you for your friendship. And man, I just can't wait to film you again. Let's do some more, right?
You bet.
All right, man. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Follow up.
Hey guys, dang, you seen that video. That was real deal. Like, that was a good, fun interview. Jace, Touched by Cannabis. Like, that's a boutique grow. Like, when we see the cannabis industry in Oklahoma take shape, there's a lot of different ways of getting stuff in your medicine. That is a quality from seed to plant way of getting your medicine. Check them out, Touched by Cannabis, Jace. I'm sorry I don't have anything for you boys there.
I mean, I actually watched the video.
Yeah.
And I just got like 2 of them. I have to know.
Let's go.
Personally, y'all been cool for a few years. I think it was 5 years, correct?
5 years now. And actually, I think it's like 6 now. Yeah,
Yes.
we're in a new year, 2023 now.
But when you were there, like, just if you can just go into depth, like, what we could see was beautiful.
Right.
It was really nice, you know. It didn't
Right.
look like what you would see on like cookies or something, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but what was it like? The aroma just had to be crazy in there.
So, like we mentioned, like Jace had started and he brought his stuff in from Colorado. He helped a couple of places start to develop their big brands that are happening around the state. We ain't going to say no names, but they out there. And that's his start. And now I'm super proud of him because he's got his own stuff. That little spot right there is some of the best in the state. And I'm talking about from seed to sell all the way through. That room, there's this one that's coming out. I'm a fan of sativas myself, right? True sativas, like a Durban Poison, Sour Diesel, like, Blue Dreams. I like some of those things. He has this one that he made called Poison Peaches, and it's a Durban Poison cross. I don't know what the other one is, but it's called Poison Peaches, and it's a heavy Durban, and it is so just aromatic. It's beautiful. And then he's got some other stuff in there that I would equate it to a fresh spring, fresh cut grass when you go out and it's the first cut and you're like, man, it's spring, this feels good. Mm-hmm. That's how that room was. It was very, very aromatic, and some of the plants were bigger, but they were stickier than all get out. This Durban Kim Dog. Kim Dog's one of my favorites too. I hadn't seen a real Kim in a minute. This Durban Kim he has was just, that's what was in the very, very back. That's what we was on. It was dumb. And that stuff should be done here in the next couple weeks.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Like I said, Touched by Cannabis. It's at a select few places. It's real deal. It's real deal. And as you can see, the main thing that makes him separated is his Korean natural farming technique. And so a lot of the things like you heard in that video are just recycled. They're coming back. So you're using a lot of nature back into the development of that plant. What's also awesome is that, I don't think he mentioned it, the longest bed he's used was 52 times. So he's had one bed in there that was used 52 times. I mean,
just natural.
And if you imagine just how the soil is that's going to produce something that is so rich of all of those other plants that have come through there, it's really unique how he does it.
And he just adds nature back every time.
Every time.
Honestly,
He's got chickens out there. We had lunch the lunch we had that day. He did a stir fry. They're very organic. His wife, shout out to Jules. She's the processor. She does everything. She made the chicken we had was one of the chickens that was laid eggs not long ago. You know, one of the chickens out there.
He did his work.
He's on his stuff, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like,
Invite me out
and you
there,
guys
shit.
seen
Man,
it.
it sound like
You
a
know
good
what I'm
time.
saying? You seen the room I was in. Like, it wasn't like we were in some major
Bro, that
facility.
setting was
That setting
tight,
was
though.
just
Yes.
real tight.
It
But
was
like,
tight.
man, if you ask Sasha and Dave, we just moved stuff around. Them beds were on wheels, just wow,
Ready to
boom,
go.
boom. And we were in that room we sat in. Wasn't the room we were standing in. We were standing up. We were in a whole nother room. Where the one we sat in was going to be the transfer. So it was very, like I said, aromatic, very floral. When you have organic cannabis, it's something different with it. You know what I'm saying? And let me rephrase that. I mean, the in-house is something different from the outdoor that's grown organically, too. So, like, there's different places that specialize in those. And if you're familiar, like, you know, some of my favorite places were Northern Cali, up in the mountain in Colorado, you know, like, there's just ways and elevation that light hits it a certain way. But when you do that indoor and it's the soil that changes, guys,
Sure.
you can just tell when you smoke it. You can just
Yeah,
tell when you taste
definitely.
it and
Yes.
see it. You know what I mean? So shout out to Jace, Touched by Cannabis.
I'm gonna try to find some of that quick because it actually was crazy. Keys actually has his own papers and they have him in a bag.
Shout out.
So like literally,
his cousin. What's the little papers?
so like literally, I have him in a bag. I don't want to reach down there and do all
Nah,
that. But
okay,
you know,
but he
actually, I
got
will because literally he has his own papers. So I
Okay.
actually like smoking papers so that I can get the full
So you
flavor.
switched up?
Oh, for sure.
Hey, let's go,
I had to- I
guys.
had to get
Shout
the-
out
I had to
the
get the
switch
papers.
up. You know, my man. I wish I had. Again, we gonna get the buttons. I'm getting the buttons. You heard
need
it
hand claps
first.
for that.
Bam,
Yeah.
bam. I'm gonna do that. I like the
Yeah.
little steamboat horn.
Listen.
I think it makes it official.
Listen, we have pre-rolled
Me.
papers. Okay.
Shout
we
out
have, these are
pre-rolled.
beautiful, like beautiful,
Right,
really
can you
smooth.
check
Rice
them out?
papers.
They don't
Rice
take.
papers?
Yes,
Yeah, ultra thin rice paper.
but
Is
they
that what
don't
that's-
take
Is that what's
anything.
that's rolled up with you? Is that what y'all
Yeah,
had a
that's
little
what
bit ago?
I've been,
Okay.
that's what I've been smoking. You know.
Shout out pre-rolled.
You
Very
know,
smooth.
Okay.
I be having to leave sometimes because of Savvy. You know, Savvy rolling up that Fronto.
Yes.
I'll be like, man, I can't turn it down because he roll them so good. But I'm papers about 96% of the time.
Indeed.
Okay.
4% leaf, and then I ain't fucked with the bong, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I ain't got the lungs.
You
for
don't
the
have the
bong.
lungs?
Not-
It's not that.
Not
you
for the
know?
bong, not no more.
Yeah, my
Well,
I'll hit
you know,
it though.
I be on. I like my own pieces, and then you know we talked about it with COVID happening. My wife taught me this. Shout out my beautiful wife Whitney. You know, she was like, "COVID's going on. You don't need to be kissing on nobody else." So I was like, "Well, you're right. We don't need to be passing them germs."
Yep.
So
Yep.
you know, we got it. And so I just
Yep.
went back to bongs, and you know, I mix it up though. You
Right.
know, I do.
Man.
I do the papers though.
Are you good at cleaning your bong though?
All the time,
'Cause I
though.
hate
So,
that
like,
part
let
about
me
the
see.
bongs.
Well, the thing
You
is,
know what
it's
I'm
like
saying?
it's like your car. You know
gets
what
bad.
I'm saying? I mean, mine's it's got a little. For the most part, it's pretty clean. We ain't gonna put that down for now.
Man.
Because I've been on it for a little.
You gotta
bit,
be
right?
on it. You gotta be
But
on it.
for the
It's like
most
having a
part,
dog.
you seen the ice in there. We don't play. We get the ice in there.
Yeah.
But it's like your car. You know what I'm saying? Like
gotta
you're
take care of
gonna
it.
go and clean your car. You don't just wait 2 weeks and not clean the car. You clean your bond, clean your
Right.
pieces. You,
You
know
gotta do
what
what
I
you
mean?
gotta do.
All right, so hold up. You had another question. Give it to me. What you?
Oh, so
what else
actually,
you
that's
had?
what it was going to be.
What?
Actually, where was it going to be, or do you know anything about when it's going to be in Tulsa, so that people can get to it quicker?
Okay, so we're gonna have him on the show. He's gonna be on our next show. Shout out Touched by Cannabis. Like I said, you go over to Weed Maps. I'm gonna just shoot them out. You know, obviously people do it. Go to Weed Maps and you'll be able to pull up Touched by Cannabis, and you'll see exactly what locations he got them in. You know, because he's in a select few. I don't want to shout out all the names because I don't know them all. But I can just put you to the resource,
That's
and
fine.
then that's gonna, you know what I'm saying.
That's
But
what's
it's here. Go and get it. It's really select. Like I said, it's a boutique grow. It's not gonna be everywhere. It's not gonna be everywhere. But let me tell you, what's out there is this Han Solo. Han Solo burger is what it is.
Oh,
It's stupid. It's stupid. It's good. It's really nice.
See?
And then I think the Poison Peaches is gonna come out. And
that's what I'm looking
when
for.
the Poison Peaches touch, like I'm waiting on that myself. Just so you know. Like just to be real, I don't. Everybody says that. They're like, I don't smoke everything. I don't do everything. I get woo 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 whatever. This is Jace is my personal guy. He taught me. He's got my grow up and going. So I'm doing the exact same style, and he's the one that grows my medicine. So.
I just want to say that the whole interviews, all of them were amazing. Honestly, we have more great, beautiful flower. It's Gelato 41 that I was speaking on earlier. Keezy, I appreciate you for coming out, having fun, man. How'd you feel about that,
Man, it was a dope interview, great vibes. You know, we still vibing out, man. I appreciate y'all having me on the platform. You already know what it is.
And shout out to Petty Fox again. Petty Fox has been providing all of the music tonight from the beginning to now, especially. He's been really just hot, man. He's really been hot, just going off, man. Like, me and Keezy are literally over here this whole time, inches away from freestyling, like, you know, like a lot. But I mean, honestly, that's just the vibe for Medcannon Marketplace. It's just literally how it is. It's been beautiful and it's been a lot of fun. Shout out to Cancer Sucks. I mean, shout out to Pre-Roll Code, Keezy Cuts. Shout out to Petty Fox, man. Again, we're definitely gonna get on that Poison Peaches, man. We're definitely gonna get on that Poison Peaches really soon. But we actually have the Marley Naturals. What's that? That's the GMO cookies.
Marley Black, huh?
I don't know. Hold on. Wait. No. Hold on. See, we have the San Fernando Valley OG. So this is the one we need to talk about more than anything. GMO is beautiful. All right.
But they got Mac 1 crumble in it.
Hold on. What we got? Oh, this is Marley Green. It's just a hybrid.
You can try both of these.
Honestly, oh man. Hold on. No, this is the vape cartridge. Oh, this is a vape?
This is a vape? No, this ain't pre-roll.
I'm saying you got pre-rolls on yours, but I have the vapes in my hand. This is a vape the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, though. For a vape? Oh, yeah. So, actually.
The packaging is crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is, yes, push it on two sides and then get everything you need on the inside. It's beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Oh, and hold on. See? They didn't tell me we had this, and I'm very happy that we have it. Don't worry. I'm about to, yes.
Bruh.
Just hold on. I'll be right back.
Let me see that one. Bruh, the packaging on this thing is amazing. Like, it comes in this little case, flips open, it's 3 pre-rolls. I mean, the presentation is there.
Easily.
The presentation is there. I'm gonna let my man open up that cartridge because we just got a battery to go with it.
Shout out to production team.
Production team been going hard all night, man. Y'all got a good thing going up here.
Streamliner Mobile. This is probably one of the best
Got a good
things
thing going over here.
And local. All right, that's what I'm saying. Local.
Now, you know, I see that this got 37% THC, 1.6 on the terps, but it has Mac 1 crumble in it.
What's the main?
The
main strain is GMO and Mac 1 crumble. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a dangerous time, but you know what? I can't wait to try it.
We gotta try it. I mean, they came through bearing gifts. So we gotta get a review, my man.
Beautiful flame. There you go.
Man, I got a flame. You need to take this mic back. So
man, hold on. There's too much work going on. Hold on. Very beautiful cartridge, man. Silver tip actually has the lions on the side of it.
That's fire.
You see that?
Hybrid. I mess with the hybrid. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Hold on. Let me look. It's cool. That's beautiful. That's very beautiful.
Let me see who that was again. That was SFVOG. That's a sativa, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it leans. It says it's hybrid. I'm gonna be honest with you, but it's
the
full
OG
flavor.
makes it lean.
Yeah,
But the SFV is the sativa side of it.
I'll tell you right
I
now.
want to try it.
This is full of flavor. There's no headache. Everything that I tasted was very like citrus floral, earthy somewhat, but really citrus floral. Even for a cart, most times you get like just a regular distillate taste. This is full. This is beautiful. And actually, I want to check this out. Here you go, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me see that real quick.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I gotta see if this is full spec or what they did, but you can taste it. You know, it's also almost like a joint, honestly. And I love that about a cart. Yeah, that's what we got. What's your review on it?
Got it in the nose, you know what I'm saying? It's almost a shame that you can get away with smoking that anywhere discreetly and it tastes so wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a cart that has a really great flavor to it. From the actual terps or from the actual bud. Like it ain't like it's like a flavoring added to it to give it that taste. Very earthy, like you said. Floral. I get all that from that one. That's pretty clean.
Right.
That would be something I would have like early in the day or midday for sure. Like for sure.
Petty Fox, you need it. Yeah. We got Petty Fox smoking a little bit. Here we go. We got Petty Fox. We got him situated. We good. Oh, we lit the GMO cookies with the Mac 1 crumble. What we thinking? Hold on. I'm gonna let you. Let it marinate. Let it marinate. Yeah.
So I can't say this. I was gonna give a real harsh review if this packaging was so dope, but the pre-rolls wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? But this pre-roll right here is what somebody would say, this is some gas. You know what I'm saying? This is like, it's very strong. I can tell THC level is high on this. The terps ain't all the way there for me, but I expected that. You know what I'm saying? 1.6 on the terps. It's pretty good. I would mess with this. This would be something I would pick up just to have, have personal at a party or something. I give it like a 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good pre-roll.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna find out.
I give them a solid 8.
It's a very full taste, like full of flavor. It's like a really earth flavor on it, but it's nothing that would make you cough or like make you put it down. This is actually a really good, clean taste on it. Low-key white ash, very white ash on it, so you should be good whenever you go somewhere. It's not gonna be full of chemicals and stuff like that. Very proud. I'm very proud of this. This is actually one of the better half grams, or if this is a full gram, this is a beautiful. Is it a full gram? So no, it's 3 half. These are half grams. These are beautiful half grams. These are a must. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a pickup.
For sure.
Each check, there will be at least $20 going towards something like. Well, we got Perry Jones back.
Up? I'm sorry, guys.
No, we're good. We're good.
I wonder how much this run.
Okay, so what we have, Keys actually brought it on. We actually have the Marley Naturals. We have the San Fernando. Oh no, the San Fernando Valley OG cart over there with Petty Fox right now. But we also have the GMO cookies with Mac 1 crumble. Very beautiful half gram. Yeah, no, it's all there.
All right, I like it.
I don't really do that right there because you know I be on this right here.
Oh, there we go.
I'm just gonna pull that out.
Well, I just
There's fortunately people in this community that are so empathetic and thoughtful and hardworking for the benefit of other people, you know. And like with my father and myself both being medicinal patients, you know, living in spaces where our medication is deemed worthy, safe, or even non-taboo is huge for us.
Yeah, yeah. Man, let me dive into that with you real quick, because I know a lot of people do these casts and they get on live and they talk, but they don't really get in depth. I haven't seen where we get a little personal, right? Like, so obviously you've went through an array of different styles of growers, because early Cali cannabis is the grow, your genetics and your style and what you guys like, and the medicine that you see out there. Tell me a little bit about the style, if you don't mind. Are you guys into like the let's go with indoor to outdoor to greenhouse? Are we talking like, what do you prefer personally, what you like for you, and then what you see for the patients that you guys serve?
Oh, if that doesn't mind if I go first, honestly, I'd have to say, Perry, sun-grown cannabis, well, that's being
Right.
in California, SoCal. There's loads of sun over there, you know. You can always find yourself up in the mountains working with the soil you have.
Yeah.
Because it gets tough backpacking stuff in and out, right?
Yeah.
You know, and when we're dealing with large pots and things like that, that's pounds of
Big
resources and
plants.
stuff
You're
you
talking
have to
about
move
big
up.
plants.
Yeah, right? So for us, like we started like low cost, just trying to re-amend, work with the soil that we had and the things that we had, because like I was saying previously, for my father and I, like with us being medicinal patients there in California, money just starts going, right? So that was when we started thinking, how can we grow our medicine for ourselves? Because personally, I was obsessed with the fact that I could now
Be in
take a
control.
medicine, absolutely, brother, yeah. So I could see something go from seed to fruition,
Right.
all without leaving my house per se or my backyard. And then that, of course, kind of spiraled into, now how can I do this for somebody else? And the next
Yeah.
person, the next person. And then that was, like Mark was saying, how we had stumbled now into the legal market that way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
continue to help other veterans and things like that. And then that demand grew for like you were saying earlier, I believe, Perry, just consistency. A lot of
Consistency,
patients and people,
definitely.
they just want consistency.
Yeah.
Flavors and new things is great, it's fantastic, but patients, they need and want consistency. So
Yes. Well, they
that's what's
deserve
very
it.
important.
They deserve it, right? I
Absolutely.
think that we all deserve it as we're trying to be the best, most authentic selves, right? You know
Yes.
what I mean? Mark, you mentioned a veteran. You're a veteran, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, thank you for your service, man.
No worries, P. Yeah, so I'm a veteran, an OIF veteran. So, you know, a lot of the things that cannabis does benefits the type of symptoms or psycho symptoms that veterans have, you know, post-combat, post-service, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's a battle for veterans in states that don't have medicinal cannabis as an option, you know?
Right.
You know, oftentimes you're put on, you know, antipsychotic meds, and they, you know, make the issues you have even more, you know, detrimental to yourself than, you know, maybe the initial diagnosis was, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was fortunate enough to be in California where, you know, I was referred to a veteran group where veterans were using medicinal cannabis. And, you know, we're experiencing like real life benefits, you know.
Real results.
Yeah, cannabis was saving lives, it was saving marriages, saving families, you know. And to be around guys, you know, who had been in the suck and know what it feels like when you come home, or, you know, like how difficult it is for them to give that kind of validation to something that, you know, normally had such a bad connotation.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
stigma.
Exactly. So I was fortunate enough, you know, to meet the right physician and, you know, be welcomed by a group of veterans who had been, you know, using cannabis for, you know, a significant amount of time. So, you know, once I felt the benefits myself, you know, there's no way you can go back after that, you know.
Right.
And, you know, once you find something that works, for me, like, it became an obsession, you know, because I
Perfecting
needed to
it.
understand the whys, you know, the why, the how, you know.
I do that often. I analyze
Yeah.
things, and once you I hear people call it the what is it, the rabbit hole, right? When you get started, you're just like, yo, I'm intrigued, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this idea evolves to this, and this thought went down here, and I didn't know this was connected to this, and all right, right. You start. I don't surf. I've never surfed. I haven't. Let me rephrase. I haven't surfed yet. I imagine that's what catching that wave is right there, right? And so like it just feels pretty unique right there hearing that, man. That's all right. So let me give a little shake up in there, Mr. Cali Cannabis. Like now you're in Oklahoma with it, and our terrain and our environment's a little different, right? And so, same question, like now that you're in this new era and everything, what do you think about ours compared to in the last 4 years? Like, what do you think about what the market has become and how things are going here?
Man, honestly, I think the industry has experienced a major boom here with the openness that we've kind of seen comparatively to other states here in Oklahoma. As a state, we've been able to achieve a lot for the state, whether it be tax wise or for jobs or for the patients. Correct me if I'm wrong, Perry, but I believe during the COVID pandemic, cannabis was one of the few industries that was still seeing growth.
Essential
while
business.
Was seeing major recessions and drops in revenue.
Definitely.
So this is just something that I think is at its core good for people and good for the economy.
Right,
it's just another form of agriculture, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once we get past the new fad of it, I think that's where it's going to be more leaning towards, which is always beneficial.
Normalized, it took 15 years, they said, for prohibition to happen with alcohol, right? And now alcohol is just, no offense, I'm not whatever on alcohol or whoever, but just stating like it takes time for it to be where it's just like, okay, cool, I just go outside and I'm medicating, like it's like smoking a cigarette, right? Except you actually have your healthy benefits, and to each its own. Absolutely. Right, at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and I think, at this point in the market, we have such a variant of products, right? So,
an array.
You can have your medicine any way you want it. You can have it in
like Baskin Robbins.
Exactly. You can smoke it. You can eat it. It can be in a transdermal patch.
Yes.
Transdermal.
Put it in your tea. Suppositories.
And you've got science behind it now, in a way that we hadn't seen before.
Correct.
You're working with chemists, you're working with formulation experts, you're working with physicians, so we're moving the barrier, it's
moving the
pushing.
needle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I think as long as, the individuals that are on that mission to push, as long as they keep doing what we're all doing,
right? Keep the mission.
Exactly, it'll happen.
Yeah. It's happening, right? There's never
good intent will always fail, but
right.
If you have the good intent, then there will be other people that will hop on the mission.
I concur that. I believe that, man. All right, so let me ask you this: how do you medicate? Are you on the flower? Are you on the concentrates? Do you like the edibles? You just mentioned an array of products, right? In Oklahoma, we're very blessed to have an array of products and an array of brand. Shout out to the state of Oklahoma because it gives everybody an opportunity to see things that, like you mentioned, in other lesser markets, they don't get the opportunity to see. It's more controlled. So to go into not only seeing an edible, but you get to see multi versions of edibles, right? And it's not limited to a chocolate or a gummy or it goes into all types of things. Then you go into the patches and the tinctures, and then you get into the common, which is the flower, which is absolutely bananas. That's really where everything starts. So back to it. Tell me, if you don't mind, I'm a flower guy myself.
No, absolutely.
Right? Classic.
I think,
OG.
That classic vintage. I feel like sometimes it's the ritual of it. It's the selecting the bud or the flower that you're going to smoke, right? The process of that, smelling it. You know what I mean?
It's the whole ambiance
exactly.
Yes, the essence.
Taking the grinder out, rolling, that whole experience, But, for us, Perry, as you know, we've been playing with aged cannabis for,
Right.
4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And, last night we, cracked open a White Widow that was almost 5 years old.
Shout out to how these guys cure. Like, we're going to go into that. It's one thing to be a grower, right? And we bring people on so we can become educated on not only brands and people behind the brands, missions, but also, like, just things. You're always going to learn things, guys, and curing is another thing. When you got a product and you grow it in one manner, the seed and the soil and all of those things, the water, all of those things play a factor. But, when you get to the finish line, that's the curing. You can mess up and drop the ball. And as you notice, not to shout out some kickers that, miss field goals, but like it happens, right? You know what I mean? Things happen, you think you got it, and then it just doesn't happen that way. But the curing, and I said that to say, like, mad respect for the way that you guys handle that, because I really enjoy the long cure myself. As a personal fan and a connoisseur, I go ahead and label myself. I like the long cure. The long cure allows the development of really the maturity of the plant, and I personally believe with that, basic trim on there. I like to see everything, and but that's just me. I get excited like eating food.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And honestly, I'd say we stumbled on it by sort of accident. We had a huge harvest one year, and we weren't able to complete transactions for all of it. So we decided to put it in these huge sort of curing vats. And absolutely forgot about it. Right, like absolutely forgot about it.
I find I call that the house cleaning.
Yeah.
You go clean and you purge, and then you you go, oh, hey, man, I knew this was here. I forgot about this. What was this? A perfect day.
No, it is. So we rediscovered it. Almost a year after it had been placed in there. Smelt amazing. Still
different smells from harvest,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, so once we had noticed that like we were getting a lot of different terpenes
Profiles,
breaking
huh?
down and things like
Okay.
that, because of course, like your typical 30-day cure is what you would do for the market average, but like Mark was saying, live plants, they don't stop growing. So so the farm just got in the way, and then we had something sitting in the back shelf for a year. And then, of course, when we got to see it, we had to test it right away because we had to figure out what exactly
looked
changed.
like.
You know what I mean? Because clearly there was a significant change from what we were growing there in flowering, what was just harvested, and then now what we have sitting here after a year. And then we were able to find that certain terpenes had degraded and increased, certain terpenes now had come to accentuate themselves and open up more and give more effects. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was just really neat to play with that. In a controlled field, because everyone
Right.
growing up, I'm sure, had a little weed under the bed or something like that. But unfortunately,
You bet not, son.
Unfortunately,
You bet
this
not.
curing's a little bit different, guys. But,
This is the like what I would call it the old school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For those that grew up around it, that understood. Like it's like to me, it's like the analogy. It's like cooking. So when you know how to barbecue, it's not necessarily just the seasoning, it's the playing with the fire. It's understanding temperature, it's understanding the meat, you're knowing how to, just manipulate time with it, right? And, slow is the best, and so when you give that patience to things, they come to whatever they're naturally supposed to be. And sometimes there's no measurement for it, but it's fun when you get to play with it because you're like,
absolutely.
okay.
It's like
I see the
it brings
potential.
excitement to a space that sometimes becomes monotonous, right?
Right,
Is
yes.
when we transition to the commercial aspect of this business, right? Your passion is there, but you're pulled in different ways from a business perspective.
Oh man, that's facts.
So
That's truth.
when you stumble on something new, it reinvigorates and reignites that passion, that excitement about
Why
the
you do
plant,
this, yeah.
why you do the things that you do, you know.
Thanks.
And when we experienced the difference, we started to, you know, store different strains and leave them for different periods of time. So
Hit me
we're-
with
we're-
that. We on that topic right
Yeah.
there. You know, this is one of my favorite things. Like, this tells a lot about a person, right? People go in, and this is medical cannabis marketplace. So let's talk about some medical cannabis out there. Like me personally, I enjoy a classic home state for you, my friend. We're gonna get into this topic in a minute, but like a real Durban poison. There's nothing like a sun-grown Durban for me personally. I enjoy that. Super lemon hazes, you know, go more recent. You go to a golden goat, you know what I mean? I like that. Snow cap. Things of those sort. Really loud of late. Apple fritter is always a good one. But this apples and bananas is really fat. But I'm a classic SFV, you know, OG, you know.
yeah.
So those are let you guys know about me, you know what I mean, and my style and flavors. Can you care to drop a couple of what's your cup of tea? Let's hear about
Absolutely. Thank you.
what
for
you get
that.
down with, Christian.
I'm definitely influenced.
How would you describe yourself?
Well,
Plant-wise.
Plant-wise
description.
You know what I mean? I'd have to say old school West Coast influenced. Man.
Okay.
Just the classics, you know, like just the staples. Like you say, Durban though. Durban with my father being from Southern Africa, not far from
Right.
the Durban area. That's one that's always kind of hit home for me, you know. And it turns out it's a staple for the industry in the sativa game.
Right.
But honestly. With my speech impediment, I have to go always with a more indica, calm, relaxing smoke. So
Okay.
typically like a Kush is what I'm looking for.
Love Kushes.
Chaos Kush, an OG Kush, something like that, just to really bring me down a notch, you know what I
Okay.
mean? And then I can operate more at I guess, at a normal level, I guess.
Okay, the Kushes. I like the
Absolutely,
Kushes. That's one of my faves for sure. Like I had that Khalifa Kush once, actually
Ooh,
twice.
yeah, that cake,
I got a lot of it. It was good.
Right.
For where I got it and what I had, it was cool. But it now makes me challenge things when I come back here because I'm like, man. If we grow this shit, though, you know what I mean? Let me bring
Yeah.
this back to home and see what we can get out here. I think it'll be a little different. Mark, tell me, like, you're a classic like myself, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and we've had this discussion numerous times, but for those out there, like, how would you describe yourself with your flower tape?
Oh man, you know, like Christian was saying, heavily West Coast influence. You know,
Okay.
Cam Dogs,
Let's go.
Gorilla Glues,
Okay.
Gelatos,
Gelatos.
and you know, of course, the Kushes. You
Shout
know,
out Gary Payton.
Hey,
yeah,
GP.
that's right.
Not gonna lie, I remember when the first time that I had the GP, and I was just like, "Yo, it's similar to having the apples and bananas for me. Like it was one of those like game changers that, all right, this is new.
Yeah,
this
definitely.
is new." And then it was like, okay, let me follow this up.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, yeah.
You know,
GP,
and
shout out.
you know, like
Gary.
when you've been using cannabis for a while, you know, like what time of day you need to smoke what, or when you're
Correct.
feeling a certain way. You know,
That's
what
the
puts
trial
that
you
at
get to
ease.
get, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, you know, like I may start the day off, you know, with, you know, something like a Bruce Banner, you know.
Classic.
Yeah, just a classic Bruce Banner.
Love
and
those.
then, you know, midday, I'm smoking the cookies because that's hands down. I'm talking about the OG cookies, right?
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the,
Not all
not
the
the
other-
cookie
not the
mints,
cookie
not the
mints,
cookie
yeah,
whatever. I'm
OG
just talking
cookie.
about OG
Yeah.
cookies. You know, then I'll transition to a Cam Dog after that, and then finish off.
Because we didn't always have a
Gosh,
Dr.
man,
Sims,
I
you know,
can't
to
believe
mix
it. The
up.
Kim Dog. Now that you said it, I haven't had Kim Dog in a long time, and it does that that rotation that you placed it in, because I would start with like a super lemon haze or a super silver haze, and then as the day went on, hit that Kim Dog
Silver haze
mid-afternoon.
was a great driver.
It was a good driver, right?
Yeah.
And then you get over into the Kim Dog, and after dinner, it's like, all right, I'm going to switch it up, and I may hit a GP, you know, that Granddaddy Purp or
Yeah.
something, or a blueberry, right? And then just
that
throw it
blueberry
in and
muffin
kind
by
of.
Humboldt.
Yeah,
Shout out
that
what's
is,
happening in
yeah,
Humboldt.
yeah. And so, like, mixing those in there, that's a good rotation.
Yeah,
there.
and you know, like, so for me, hands down, Trainwreck, right?
Yeah.
And when I say Trainwreck, is we are on probably our sixth pheno on Trainwreck at this point, right? So we
Okay.
started out with an original Trainwreck, and over time we've tweaked it.
Just been chasing.
And you know, exactly, chasing, you know, different aspects of it.
What are you
because-
seeing out there in this train wreck right now? What are things that you're noticing with what you're chasing right now? Because that's an interesting point. Like I hear a lot of people talk about growing, and you grow, and it's all about, you know, the one product, right? But when you get into the growing, you start to understand like different phenos. You start to understand different qualities these plants are having, then, you know, your soil and your water and all these different, again, like cooking for me, you know, you mix those things.
Absolutely.
What are you seeing right now that's improving that is your likes? Is it the terps? Is it the smell? Is it the bud structure? Like, care to tell us kind of a little bit about that?
Yeah, so definitely from my perspective, everyone's different. Like most growers know, some people are chasing the flavor, you know, like we're definitely terpene chasing with the Trainwreck at the moment.
Okay.
Terpene chasing for more numbers, just more bag appeal, because similar like with food, we're saying people eat with their eyes, with their
Eyes,
nose,
yeah.
with
All
their
your
mouth,
senses.
all your senses.
All your
you know?
senses, right.
So as this market gets more and more competitive, you have to have that one up, you know what I mean? And for Trainwreck, that one just happens to be terp chasing for us at the moment, you know?
Okay.
With it being more sativa leaning, we do have some chunkier cuts and things like that we could work with, but those ones perhaps aren't maybe as terpene heavy or things like that, you know. But it's just trying to just be consistent, but finding that inspiration for like why we got into doing this and stuff like that, you know, because it's easy to sometimes get into the whole turnkey, you know what I mean? You just, because the plants, like I said, they don't stop. So every day,
they keep going.
You know, it's monotonous, but it's good to have those passion projects to just, like, get you excited to come into work that next day and see how the plants are doing, and you know what I mean? Because
And you know, like, you know, science and data, you know, is the driving factor. You know, it's like you're working on one painting over 5 years, right? But you're using different techniques, you know, to
As you're
create
going
different
along.
effects, right? So as Christian was saying, like, now we're terp chasing because resin production is consistent and it's extremely high,
Okay.
right? So you've got that. So now we've built the bud structure, for example. You know, we've changed nodal spacing over time. You know,
some things.
Different things like that. You know, so. We're at a point now, you know, like you said, when we're chasing, you know, these flavonoids and, you know, these entourage effects, you know, and when you jump into that space, it transitions into other things, right?
Correct.
Because now, you know, science tells us that all fruits and veggies have these same terpenes and flavonoids, right?
Correct.
Which now means, from a scientific level, we can start to play with these things. You know, we talk about wine, for example.
Yeah.
You know, matching flavonoids and profiles, you know, with that specific strain or that winery, and using lab results. You know,
To back it
comparing
up.
those COAs and matching, right? And you end up with these amazingly sort of flavorful, you know, combinations
Yeah.
with cannabis and wine, you know.
It's enticing to your senses, and
Yeah,
that's
it is.
really that's fun to chase right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can
Yeah.
see that. I can see
And we
that.
definitely understand too, like, for the wine people out there are some purists that think that
I like 'em.
that we're gonna muddy up their wine with our cannabis, but we do come in with the purest intentions, I must say. You know what I mean? to just add, and then evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your constant growth is change, and change, is an evolution. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're going with it, but it's happening.
No, absolutely.
Shout out to the Amarula fruit in Swaziland.
Absolutely.
Hey, see, we're gonna go right into that. I mean, I got some guys. Listen, you guys, you don't know this, but me and these guys, we can do this all night. Like we talk about, we've got layers upon layers of growth and things that have happened in the last 5 years for us all, right?
Absolutely.
Like, so really quick shout out to. It's Bison, guys. Like these terpenoids, you guys were just talking about flavors. And Bison Social right here, we got them up front. 3 different flavors right here. Our terp tonics are that's what they're called. And so they're like a
gelato terp infused.
Yeah, they're like a spritzer, like a drink, a pop almost. That's a local from a combination of Bison extracts and their brand Bison Social with Nothing's Left Brewery right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so I want to give a quick shout out while we were just talking about
absolutely.
terpenes
We love
and
Bison.
all of that, the great brand, great stuff. We're going to go into a flavor review, product review a little bit later on them. So we'll shout them out and do that. But going into what you were just saying, right? We made mention that Mark, you're originally, or your family, you're from originally South Africa. And that kind of leads us to what we brought on for the show, guys. Like, when I say that we started about 5 years ago, by way of California through the Colorado celebration to Oklahoma with the fam, and then our linking up, and then the evolution of what we've all done. We've taken the medicine part very, very serious. And that's how we were introduced and we started, right? Yep. And so while we've been able to do amazing things, me and my team outside of the cannabis marketplace, with THC2 and some of these other brands that we're associated and have, we were able to push it here in the States. Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, Kansas. We're moving around over there.
Wonderful stuff.
You know what I mean? And impacting patients. Well, when we had met, this is the same mission we've been talking, right? And shout outs to you guys. Major kudos, because you guys are really the only people that I know that have taken it even past me, right? I'm not being big-headed or boastful about it by any means, right? But you guys are international, right? Now we've taken it to your home state, like back in South Africa, and you're helping patients on another level, which is what, our alignment has been in a long time. And so we're very proud of you guys, and I want to just give a shout out to that. But let's go into that. Like, wow, we've done that here. You've taken it from helping patients in California to coming to Oklahoma, bringing the brand, expanding to going to Texas, Florida, and now South Africa. Can we talk about that a little bit? Like, can we break into that, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
International,
It's 100% started out, like trying to solve a family issue. So,
right.
As you said, I'm from Southern Africa, from a country called Eswatini, only independent monarch in the globe. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So steeped in history. Just
talk about relationships, man.
yeah, just like this little bubble, man.
It's a mountainous kingdom.
Yeah, in Southern Africa with like good, hardworking people, God-fearing people, people who just want the best for their families.
Right. Okay.
And lifelong cannabis growers.
Lifelong.
And
because you said you're not
lifelong.
far from Durban, right? This
Yeah,
isn't that far from Durban.
we're about 4 hours drive from Durban.
Sounds like a trip to Dallas.
Exactly. And, these people have been growing, my people have been growing cannabis for hundreds and hundreds of years, right?
Right.
Swazi
Gold is what it's called, right?
And for those that don't know the original, like when you do your research, if you're a connoisseur like myself, strain hunters and different places, different people.
Please tell them to bring our strain back.
You'll start to see some original strands in that Swazi Gold, and those are original. Yeah, like that's amazing to hear there. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So, we went out there trying to understand, what the market was,
Right.
Trying to understand what was in the space currently, who the major players were, because we wanted to look at bringing industrial hemp for an introduction, right, to introduce them to the holistic aspect of it, the medicinal aspect of it.
And we're talking about a country that's been growing for years, right? But
Yeah.
they don't have the infrastructure of a market, like a medical cannabis marketplace, right? So that's what your linkage allowed you to make a connection to get out there to bring the medicine and the
Absolutely.
concept as well as the education, right? Not only from the
Yeah.
growing, but the understanding of the plant back to your people, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
so-
it's always been a passion for us. You know what I mean? Just seeing the impact that the industry's had monetarily and just for people health-wise and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Here in America, it's always been a passion project or like a dream of ours to take it back home for our people to benefit from things
Nice.
that we learn. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's a part of it, right? Is to go and learn these new things, these new ways of doing things, so that you can help your family, your people, and things like that. You know, so as much as we could keep being here in the U.S., operating within this,
confinement,
you
really.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but now was an opportunity. I mean, for us to go and touch back home with what we've learned and on the team that we've built through the years. You know,
Yeah.
because we couldn't just do this as 1 or 2 men or even 5. You
Right.
know, is this kind of project of this scale and this kind of and this importance takes a very large, skillful team, you know, because the last thing that we want to be is a laughing stock, you know.
Correct.
Because everyone already does look down on these quote-unquote third world emerging countries that are trying to do things, you know, and the cannabis there is better. The growers there are great growers.
You get what's like the elevation? Like, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, guys, off camera. Oh, okay, that's a good one. As you guys know, this is live, and sometimes I don't know how to read with the glare of the light because this is a real studio, all right? So it makes me happy. And
Yes.
so,
Welcome to the Daily Show.
Okay, welcome to the Daily Show. All right, so before I get into that, I do have a question. Okay, what do Oklahomans do well, or what do Oklahoma growers do well, and what do you think that, based off your experience from the different countries now, not just states, there should be some improvement on what we should grow on? So let's start with that. What do you guys see based on what you've brought to the market and what you see in the market in Oklahoma? What do you see that's going well?
Yeah, man, it's a loaded question.
It's a layered question.
No,
actually, really.
layered is the correct word to use there, Perry. I think what Oklahoma growers have done well is adapt to the ever-evolving market.
Yeah.
I remember we had about 18 months of peak market, right? So when
That was a I hate to use the Western term. That was a gun-toting time right there. Boy.
Yeah, we
that
were
was
getting-
a, that was a
we were getting
rowdy
close to
time right
$5,000
there,
a
right?
man, yeah.
and
That was a market time.
it was amazing to be a cultivator at that point in
Correct.
time, right? And in the circles and the relationships that we have, there were lots of conversations and like this unrealistic excitement about the possibilities, and then we started to see the bigger players move into the space because everyone was waiting to see how things were moving, and then everyone wanted to be a cultivator.
Everybody
right?
wants to be a grower.
Right.
Because it was affordable, right? And everyone has the right, to try to make
Plenty of arable farmable land here in Oklahoma.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Major advantage over other states in their legalization.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So,
No plant caps.
hats off to the players that are still doing well, that are still, like
They're in the
plugging
game.
in and dragging themselves
Yeah.
along because sustainability and consistency, that leads to success.
Yes, I
You know,
concur.
So I think 100% that's what they've done well. We continue to see product or, new products in the market, good products in the market, right?
Great
Products-
ideas happening out there right now.
Exactly, right? So without science and innovation, we can't push this industry further along. So,
Correct.
when we get stuck making specific products, there's no growth in the industry. So I love what we're seeing from that perspective. And, as far as to learn, I think it's just important to establish relationships, good quality ones that are not industry sort of typical, right?
Yeah.
And
you have
I
to
think
develop them. You have to take
exactly.
the time. And I think that's one of the things I've learned.
Yeah.
With what we've done, right? I say 5 years, and 5 years with our market happening now, it seems like a blink of an eye. And so, you're right, like consistency and balancing and staying with it and figuring where you want to be in the market, right? Because you guys started in, then we evolved, and now we're, and then some are staying within. So I think that's great to take those concepts back.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think, like you mentioned products, right, here in the state. What products that stand out in your mind? Like, what are some of the type of modalities that have come up and some of the most interesting things that you guys seen some of the businesses in Oklahoma produce?
Honestly, there's some funny ones. I guess I could say that I thought were pretty unique. As far as like infused brown gravies, which I thought was
that was crazy,
pretty unique and innovative.
Like the hot sauce and all of the different food
Cheetos,
stuff, the Cheetos and stuff. All the edibles were
with the
pretty
recreational
unique.
market for us, they're in California. Just seeing and experiencing that, like it was definitely tough to see something new, and that was more southern comfort. I felt like so it was I guess more unique to Oklahoma in a way, and it was really interesting to see. I thought, honestly, but it's kind of a funny
that's
answer.
super
but
cool though, because as I thought about it, it's like, it seems like it's the norm, right? But you're absolutely right. You go to other markets, you're not seeing
It doesn't
you're not
exist,
seeing
yeah.
barbecue chips.
No.
And you're like, what? You're like, I'll just knock down 100
I think
milligrams.
that's the beauty and also the crutch of our industry here, right? Is you're siloed to the borders, and there's no, innovation that's happening really unless, operators are moving from state to state, which is what we see, right? But then you sort of lose that local, entrepreneurial opportunity, right? Because the small guy, he doesn't have those relationships yet.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Or
and
he
then
doesn't
when
have
you,
that distro or hasn't,
skills transfer is so important, but it's also currency in our industry, right?
Correct.
And we watch as the industry evolves from day one until it's a mature market, right? And you can literally see the players coming in at different times in those spaces to fill in those gaps.
Correct.
You know what I
So
mean?
They see that it's time, and it's like, okay, this is a good market. Let me go ahead and switch this. All right.
and they already have the roadmap.
And they already have the roadmap.
Yeah.
There's not really any trailblazing like we're having to do over there in Southern Africa,
Well, and I think that's a good thing over there, being able to evolve from the cannabis market from California, watching it grow, and being able to come home to Oklahoma with your wife's and your mom's family, and then now taking it to your family. And that's really speaks volumes of the legacy and things that have been instilled in you, because it's obviously coming down in a Christian, and now being able to go out and head back and teach the people of Africa, like even in starting South Africa, let's start with great flower, which is what you have, and let me show you how all these people can have these modalities in different places, different ways.
Truly.
That's super, like, guys, if you're not following, you've seen it down here numerous times, Cali, Cannabis, you got to definitely follow them, see what's happening, pay attention. If you guys got loved ones traveling, internationally, like, this is something. And we're only bringing you guys the real deal people here. Like, we're bringing real things. And so
We're really out there.
Right? We're really out there. This is real deal. And so it makes me happy that you guys were able to come on this evening. Let me ask you this. How far into the Africa movement have you guys been? Like, where do we see that in the next? Better question is, what's the comparison of the innovation of that market compared to Oklahoma, now that you've been in Oklahoma?
Oh, man.
And this is 5 years now here, compared to what you're doing now over there.
Let me tell you something. The local operators there are killing it, man. Absolutely killing it with the limited tech or the limited machinery that they have, right? I'm talking about, products that could match, U.S. products from a quality and advertising, from a, you know, like a visual aspect. I mean, they're absolutely amazing products there. The problem that we're experiencing there is there's no industry infrastructure to move product like we have here in the U.S., right? Where we have,
There's a lack of testing.
you know,
infrastructure.
different value chain models, you know, throughout the industry, right? So the majority of our industry business moves through different value chains, right? And that's how we monetize it at different levels. But when you don't have the infrastructure really for those value chains to be, you know, structured and then sustainable, right? That's when you run into issues. So that's what we're trying to help them
Establish,
do,
huh?
right? Is
Okay.
you know, provide advice where we can, counsel, you know, help link them up with, you know, people in our vendor network to get the right, you know, items that they need, you know, for the part of the industry or the value chain that they're operating in. You know, provide them with guidance, skills transfer where we can, you know, those kinds of things, and help them with investment as well.
Got you, man. Listen, we can keep going on for days. I think really what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring one of you guys back to talk about the next wave with. We've got another influencer with us. Her name is Sam, aka Stoner Sam. We want to talk about advertisement and marketing in this day, and then international. What you guys are seeing with what you've learned from California to here, and seeing what her take is with the Oklahoma market. So we're going to take a quick break, guys. We're going to head into some great loop-in music, and then we're going to come back to you with some new guests, and we're going to catch up on some more things with these two. This is Perry, Mark and Christian, Cali Cannabis. This is the medical cannabis marketplace. Stay tuned, guys. We got some good stuff for you. Take a quick break. I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Wow. This way, guys. This way. Come around this way. Yeah, let's go. Hey, so as you know, we shoot this live, and I can be transparent. I'm getting the damn timer, okay? We're getting the timer, just like I'm getting the engineer button that does the sign, so we can do, we're growing, okay? We're growing. I'm going to get it. And so the timer will be there with the countdown. Let me tell you, I thank you guys for paying attention. Thank you for following us. Thank you for watching. This is the beginning of something we believe is going to be great for patients and people alike. I'm Perry Jones III, your host. I've got Stoner Sam on right now. She's a major influence in the Oklahoma market. And we brought back Mr. Mark from Cali Cannabis. And so, guys, as you know, I'm just, again, thank you guys for tuning back in for part 2 real quick. That music right there, as you've seen, I would equate that to almost getting a massage. If you don't get a massage often, you wouldn't understand it, but it's soothing. Loop is in the game. Loop is in the game. Shout out Loop. And so I wanted to bring you on, Stoner Sam. I'm happy that you're a part of this, right? Hold on, let me make sure. Hey, can y'all hear Sam? Can you hear her? Is she good back there? Okay, good, because she's soft spoken. I should call her soft spoken Sam, not Stoner Sam. That's soft spoken Sam, and so that is not true if you know her.
Loud and proud.
But she's a I would consider one of the major influencers in the state of Oklahoma. I've watched her over the last year and a half, almost 2 years, really evolve in the game, and she's really helped a lot of patients, right? And I don't just mean like the businesses to get products to those patients. She's helped them to understand the dynamics of some of these modalities, and she's a young one. I've celebrated 2 birthdays with her now, and so
crazy.
I've watched this evolution, and so I wanted to kind of get her idea, a little story on her perspective, because that's a different role, right? Mark he knows you have to get somebody who is willing to be out there to say, yo, I believe in this product, or hey, this is my story, or yo, this is what it is to really pass your stuff. Yeah. And that's what you do for so many people, Sam. So tell me a little bit about how you got into the game, obviously, here in Oklahoma.
When I first started in the cannabis industry, I was actually working for my mom's dispensary. We were just a little bitty small town.
Get out of here. Shout out Oklahoma.
Yeah.
This
Shout
is
out
what it
Oklahoma.
is, guys. This is right here. Amazing. Again, legacy, homegrown. It's really showing that it's organic. That's what Oklahoma is known for. And that's what the show is producing. So that's shout out to your mom, raising the right one right there. So, work for your mom's dispo right there. And then that's how you got into the game.
Yeah,
And so tell me
we
more.
had 6 strains on the shelf. We were growing most of our own stuff. We had 4 pre-rolls, absolutely nothing. We were starting from scratch.
Okay.
And within the first couple months, we transitioned to a bigger building, and it got to the point where we were having patients drive anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to a small town 15 minutes away from the Kansas border to get quality care. We weren't just in it for the pride of saying, oh, we run a dispensary. It was more of trying to make sure that the patients had quality care with quality cannabis.
So you were a fully integrated place down there as well. Had your grow, made your pre-rolls, sold your own out of your spot. If that's not the I'm gonna say it if that's not the American dream to be able to come in and run a business, and you're talking in a time that COVID happened, so now you come post COVID, and then again 5 years of the industry happening right now. You have
where's the time
family
gone?
Farms. Oh my God, right? You got family farms coming in and being able to produce that and do that. I remember having to go across to Kansas when the beer was a little different.
Yeah.
That was a little. We ain't talking about that, but
Think
anyways,
back to the times.
yeah. So another story, another time.
Another time. Someday,
Well, I was just gonna say, P, what you guys were doing is where the industry is moving to, right? That single
Right.
source,
Yeah.
you know,
Single source, right.
Nowadays
grown.
they call that vertical.
Yeah, no, vertically integrated.
I love
right?
how everybody tries to find a term for it, but yeah,
You know,
they're all the same.
exactly,
They're all
you
the
know?
same. Though,
So
man.
vertically integrated, single sourced, right? That's the shift now, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what the customer wants. It's modeling that farm to table kind of model,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that Midwestern.
Yeah,
That's that
so
Midwest style.
it's neat to meet people that understand it from that way and
yeah.
have built it that way as well, right? Like organically, you were vertically integrated, you know.
yeah.
And you find a client base, right? Like, because you think about when you're shopping, even for like a hypothetical, like your hamburger meat, right? I mean, or just say beef, right? You're like, yo, we're gonna have beef. What do? You just go to the local grocery store. You're not going to the butcher
The meat
45 minutes or
market,
the
yeah.
meat market 45 minutes away, right? So to know that you find your medicine and you're just like, yo,
And that's exactly
Gotta make the trip, going
that's
to the
exactly
city.
where we were trying to
You know?
get. You know, we really stood strong on the fact that we cared about our patients.
Right.
It wasn't just, oh, here's some weed.
Yeah.
So like most things that happen, right? Like even in this industry and business, right? Evolution, right? Evolving, like we were speaking about earlier. You've evolved, right? You started in your mother's dispensary, and now you've evolved into this influencer that's like everywhere, right? Like, I mean,
All the
when Sam
time.
puts her stamp on it, they're like, "Yo, it's official!" So, like,
Stoner
how
Sam
to?
approved.
Yeah. So now you're going to different brands. Let me ask you the question: what was one of the most unique products in Oklahoma being an influencer?
Oh,
Well,
wow.
let's for those that don't know it, right? A lot of people put these terms like we were just mentioning, vertical and single
Single
source,
source.
and you're hearing a lot of these terms thrown out there, like influencer.
Yeah.
Like Sam, influencer. I say it very loosely. Would you describe to the people like what you do? What makes you you?
What makes Stoner Sam Stoner Sam?
Yes.
Well, I like to hold near and dear to the fact that I don't really, in my mind, I don't really do anything, but according to you and numerous others, I like to touch base with the patients. I like to, in a way, see a need and fill a need.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important to me to make sure that the patients are taken care of first and foremost. Again, it's not just selling weed.
Right,
So I
right,
like to go
right.
out and like get the stories of like, hey, why'd you get into this? Like,
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
smoke, that's cool. Like, not everybody needs it, dude. It's
Correct.
medicine, you
Right.
know. I go out for THC too. I am a mid rep. I go to all over really and talk to the patients, the owners, all of the things, and explain to them that we're here to help in more than just ways than getting your card or this or that. We have our CBD line that's constantly helping patients. Day in and day out, different things are growing with us within our
Definitely.
business. I also sell for different companies.
You represent a lot of different products that are going to help patients too.
Yeah.
And so it's not only just meeting them and letting them know, like, hey, I can help you on this front of
Yeah,
getting it.
I
Like,
offer
also,
different
let me tell you
options
about
of
different
helping.
brands. So
Yeah.
really, your servitude is what the influencing is, right? Because your influence is the fact that you're there to serve
Yeah.
in any capacity for a patient to a business owner to really any and everything in between. And so the term influencer is really, like, I feel overused, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like that's a term that's made out there for like a
Yeah.
sales rep almost, really. To be able to be a giver and a server is a bigger
Yeah, I
is a
don't really
bigger
like to think I
testimony.
influence anybody. I'm just here to
Right,
kind of
right.
be a, I guess,
Help
a
to guide, be a
yeah,
resource
yeah.
almost,
Like a light to the subject of like, this is medicine, we can help. You
Yeah.
know?
Like an ambassador.
In a way,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You're
that's
a
more of a
cannabis
word for it. There
ambassador
you go.
or
There you
advocate,
go. Dude,
you
thanks.
know,
Yeah, an
that's a-
advocate,
an
especially. That's
advocate.
my favorite one.
I
an
like that term,
advocate.
the advocate. It really means that you stand up for something. And you
Yeah.
stand up for the people. And so,
Right.
like, with you representing those different brands and helping people become more aware of different things, where do you see the market going into?
It's almost a loaded question.
Layered. All right, so let me
Yes.
simplify that. Let me
Thanks.
simplify that. With the getting out there with the patients and seeing like the marketing, because that's really where you're on the front line of it, is with the marketing.
Yeah.
For the state, how has the marketing changed in your eyes for patients to see some of these different products? Do you think that it's easier for them to get that information?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the best part about what we do is we are so able to get the knowledge about the products that are here because everything is so new. It's not
Yes.
taboo anymore. We're able to talk about it and say, hey, I brought a new thing to the table rather than just, hey, this is the weed that I grew. And that's cool, and I like to see the numerous different things that are out there, the RSO capsules, RSO in
Yeah.
general. Like, if you don't know about RSO, please educate yourselves on it.
Rick Simpson oil.
Yes.
It's a method. Definitely, shout out to the #1 search engine in the world, Google. You can look that up, right? And so
Leafly
I'm
is
not
a
going to
wonderful
shout out
place
too
to do
many
that.
companies or anything. I am going to let you know where you can do that research, though. But yes, RSO. Like what other products do you fare that you think
I
were like the
personally-
RSO capsules?
Daily, I guess, I use my CBD. Shout
CBD.
out to THC too.
Oh, okay, shameless.
know,
I'll take it.
The, the CBD has.
That's not paid there.
It's
just so
no,
you guys
definitely
know.
not. The CBD has helped really change everything because it's a different way of taking your medicine.
Yeah.
For the people who don't take the THC part of it because it's too much for them, like CBD is a wonderful
Alternative.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a huge glob snob. I love my dabs.
Dabaroni
preferably
is
my
it
hash.
concentrates.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna ask next. I did it with the guys earlier. What do you like to medicate? Is it the concentrate? Is it the flowers? Is it the edibles?
I'll
Is it
always have to
the
stick
tinctures?
to my flower, but
Okay.
here lately some
Your
hash
preference?
has been got.
Hash?
It's got me, boy.
Okay, is there a specific style that you like,
Um,
or do you just like all the different?
I like solventless.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
Big hashes,
Nice,
mostly
okay.
Divine.
Divine.
Yeah,
you're gonna
just
give us
hash.
shameless plugs out there. I like that.
I'm
Divine,
not
she
gonna
did that.
gatekeep the good medicine,
Listen.
okay?
Hey, I like that. And that's what I love about it is that sounds like that's a brand that we need to get on and learn more
Oh,
about.
absolutely.
Because, if somebody is using it, then I think others would like to know about that. You know what I mean? So I don't mean shameless. I mean like
Oh,
we're gonna get that thing on
Yeah.
there. And
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I think, the mission is getting good medicine to patients that
Correct.
need it,
And awareness.
and if there are
Absolutely.
companies that are producing quality medicine, they should be the ones that we talk about.
Yes,
And
I
they
could
should be
not
the
agree
ones
anymore.
that we push and support from a community perspective, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well,
You
that's
know,
what's going to keep the industry alive and vibrant, no
Yeah.
matter what the market does, right? Like you don't hear when you think of Coca-Cola or anything like you're not hearing they say, oh well, the market's down on sugar, so
Yeah,
shit, I
right,
ain't getting
right.
a Pepsi. No, you don't.
Listen, and
you don't hear that.
yeah, and we all know where to go when we want good smoke,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's
Correct.
no shame. Like we all know where to go to get affordable smoke or
Exactly.
cheap smoke.
The versatility is endless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's already here in the market. So
And that's a great part of it, because for being in Oklahoma, especially Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's so many patients who can't afford the higher end stuff, and they know, hey, I know my dispo down here is going to take care of me. I still need my medicine even though I can't afford the higher end stuff, and I'll be honest, I've been there numerous times.
But they get access. I think that's the other thing you're mentioning is like at any point you get access and it's right
Absolutely.
there around, and it's not lost on us the quality that's out
Right,
there,
right.
Because there's some things that again like we were mentioning when you go and start changing and chasing like the nose or using your senses or what have you, there's a plethora of different types out there. I mean, the flower game, like speak on that as a grower real quick. Like that, like you've seen a lot on the sales end because you've been in the dispos, you've been to the grows, you've been on the front line with all
Right.
forms of the business and growing your own compared to other grows. Like, what are your thoughts on some of the different flower that's out there?
It's definitely evolved. tremendously. Like, to see some of the stuff that's out there, I will solidly stand on the fact that Oklahoma has some of the best grown flower that I've seen, indoor, outdoor, whatever you want to do to get your
So
flower.
much variations,
Yeah,
huh?
it's crazy to think how
It's
many different
happening.
ways it's done. You know, you can't ask one grower to the next and they'll give you the same way. They'll tell you
Correct.
their special little treat that does
Little
it.
sauce, little secret sauce.
Yeah, exactly. The pizzazz.
Well, you were a grower too, and then like, what do you say?
I was gonna say there's some really, really good quality stuff out here, right?
It's not. It's like it's
There's-
not far from us. You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
something for everybody,
Correct.
right? If you want something that is going to be super high THC, you can find it. If you
Yeah.
want something that is mid-tier but full of flavonoids, you can find it, and you can find it at your price point, and you can have options. It really is an established market at this point. And we can tell that because we've got specific brands, in specific areas that people know. People have their favorite dispensaries or favorite products and brands, so those are good signs of an established market,
Shout out again, guys, on this time. Bison Social. Oh, this one is a limited edition. I always like when
That
they put
one's
those
so
on there.
good.
This one is. I think this is the latest one. No.
Is that on the
This is the
pomegranate?
latest one. No, this is the pomegranate though, and the cranberry and basil.
that's
I
so
just
good.
and it's a Mac 1 terp infused. So like speaking of the flavonoids and things, shout out to Bison Social with the partnership of Nothing's Left Brewery down in here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like I can't wait to sample these later.
I know,
guys.
I'm
and
excited,
again,
I'm
these
excited.
drinks here are terp drinks, meaning that they're like it's a non-alcoholic terp tonic, and it's infused with terpenes, and so it's really unique, like a pop.
It's
right?
wonderful
Like a
for
soda.
dry
Right?
January.
Would you say that? Yeah, definitely wonderful for dry January.
Yes.
Like I think that's one of the other things, which. That's what we're here for with the medical cannabis marketplace.
Yes.
Like dry January, dry February.
Dry every
we
month.
dry all the time.
Dry
with that.
year-round.
hopefully your green ain't that dry.
Yeah, no,
But-
no. Get above it a peg, boy.
Shout out to the over dryers. You
Get
know.
your curing game up.
Yeah.
Get your carrot game. Oh, I
If not,
love
Bison's
that.
gotcha.
If not, but yes, again,
That's
guys,
right.
The non-dry. There's stuff that's I can't even get that out of my mouth right
The
now. Like there's
non-dry
there's so
Bison
much
Seltzer.
little things that are like being made new now. Like
It's crazy.
Has the non-dry been like a normal thing? I don't remember last January it was.
Honestly,
Was it?
I think dry January has been a thing for a while. I think
Okay.
there's just a lot more people broadcasting it this
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
We're talking about it more.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Kind of like Croctober, right? Which I meant really
What?
now it's not necessarily that because it's
Croptober?
more- Yeah, Croptober.
I thought you
don't
said
remember?
Croctober. I was
No,
like,
Crocs.
what?
What is that, when everyone
That's
wears their
when
Crocs?
Everybody wears their Crocs in October,
Yeah, I was
and
like, I'm
it's
not on
the
that
only
bandwagon.
every day of
It's
October
Croptober,
you
but-
have to wear your Crocs, and you have to put one of the little
The little Croc
little
Julies.
jewels. You got to put a new one on every day.
Every day of October.
New
Is there
one.
even that many holes?
We need to
I
come
mean-
up. We need to come up with like a cannabis line of those things, man.
Oh my gosh, guys.
You know what? Hemp plastic
Hemp.
is what
See?
we
See?
should. Shout
We're
out
making it
to
happen,
Christian
boys.
for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
You guys, I'm gonna pay attention. Y'all heard it here. Let me find out somebody's doing it.
we'll come and
Yeah.
get
I'm
them.
Trademarking
coming.
it.
I'm coming.
We'll come and get 'em.
like Dion says, we're coming. That makes me excited about the hemp side of it because,
Yeah.
like you were mentioning, it could be used, and I see that happening with the change of the market very soon. Like you mentioned with the CBD, the different.
Health benefits.
Health benefits, but also the different products that are being made with that, right? The MLB now is signed with Charlotte's Web. That's the first
Yes.
CBD
Yes,
major
that is so
sponsorship.
amazing.
And so that's going to be something really unique in that aspect, which goes to help normalize cannabis, right? And so with that happening, and with what we just mentioned with the Croctober, that is a great concept because you know what? It can happen. All it is hemp
Absolutely.
plastic, and once it's done, somebody's like, "Yo, This is
Boom.
biodegradable. Just throw it on my shoe. Boom.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, I'm giving back to the planet.
Literally.
Subconsciously, we like those different things, right?
And we're
So-
starting to see the shift in the global markets across the different industries
Yeah.
where, they're becoming, more susceptible to making that
Yes,
shift
yes.
to, something that is organic, that is biodegradable, that may not be a traditional, plastic product or
Right.
otherwise, So I think, taking advantage of those opportunities, understanding the markets and the products and how they can fit into those different spaces is important.
They say that's what every new business is just, someone finding a need.
It is.
Right?
man.
Somebody
See a
needing
need, fill a
see
need, man.
fill a need, and then you now have a new creation of something,
Yes.
right? And so tell me this, with Sam, you doing influencing, right? But really marketing, right? Because you sell yourself. And you're showing yourself in so
Multi-marketing,
many
yeah.
multi-markets
Yeah.
with multi-products, right? With advertisement in the state of Oklahoma, right? Because you're advertising the products, the services, or whatnot.
The everything.
The everything, right? And you're constantly evolving with it.
Yeah.
How do you see the cannabis advertising space happening right now with social media,
Dude,
from,
it is
from
so
Instagram
crazy.
to
We got billboards out
TikTok,
here, dude.
billboards,
Like-
right? And I think like radio ads.
Yeah,
and you're
dude,
getting,
that's everywhere. Like,
obviously we see it with us here, guys. Shout out to Bison Social and Nothing's Left Brewery
Yes.
down here on the medical cannabis marketplace.
Yes.
I'm working on my voice. Again, soon we'll have the buttons, and I'll be able to pitch that button.
There you go.
That's gonna be so
You know,
cool.
it's gonna be really
Studio
excited.
a
upgrade.
studio upgrade, and you guys are gonna know. I think I'm gonna try to
He's
put
gonna
it
let
on
off
our
little
on the
buzzers.
pre-roll. I want to show like the unveiling of it, and I think it'll be really awesome. So
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
that'll be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Did I see that?
Yeah, that's crazy. That is terrifying.
I.
That is actually terrifying. So maybe I'm just gonna, for the sake of everybody in here, I'm gonna say that was the wind from the front door.
So we were sitting here. You can tell it's live for sure.
Look
We were
at it. It's
sitting
still. Oh
here,
my gosh, it's still
and
doing
the
it.
door was open.
No,
But it's a wind gasp. It's because we're,
Okay,
we're in the
see?
studio. We're in the studio. That's okay. And you know how some people, they've been watching scary movies,
Dude.
cannabis, scary movies. We got to get them balanced. That's what happens right there. That's what that is. And so,
Maybe we're gonna have a special guest ghost.
yeah, so.
Ghost edition?
I hope not. I'm not. This isn't Eureka Springs. And this
Oh.
is, no, we don't need that.
No, sir.
No, okay. So. Dang, Sam, you totally took my train
Dude,
of
that
thought.
was terrifying for me.
It scared me. I shouldn't have moved and diverted that. So I apologize.
I caught it out of the
I am
corner of my
learning
eye.
as a
I'm just glad
host
other people seen
to,
it
like,
because I felt a little crazy.
Just let things go.
This is the
So,
haunted episode, man.
This
We're
is
good.
the haunted
This
second
is a good.
episode.
This is a good
right?
episode.
I
Way to
like that.
jumpstart
I like
things.
that. I like that. I can do that. Okay, so let me. What I was asking you was the change of marketing with the social media platforms, right? Currently, right now, how do you see the marketing space and what tools you're using? What's the most powerful tools getting patients to see the products? Is it the in-person? Is it the Instagram? Is it Facebook? Do you think, what are your thoughts on that from your standpoint?
When it comes to marketing things and getting actual product to be seen, it's usually best to do that in person because social media is the hardest thing to work with in our industry. We have to be so careful with what we say. We have to be careful with what we post. A lot of social media platforms are still on that little thing of, hey, you have to clarify that your state is legal, you are 21 and older,
Because those are obviously
it's still very
worldwide
monitored.
platforms or
Yeah.
what have you, not state derivative.
Exactly.
So playing within the restraints
Yeah.
for that for Oklahoma.
Right. But when it comes to the networking of industry people and growers, dispo owners, all of that, Instagram is a huge hit for people.
Okay.
Networking is super
People, nothing beats people. Nothing beats the
Absolutely.
handshake. Nothing beats the expos or the that's how we met.
Yeah.
Right.
If we don't talk, that's how we met. If we
Yeah.
don't talk,
Heck, that's how we met. It's not yet. We haven't, but we will.
One day.
You
One
should
day.
always take advantage when you're in those spaces with other
Right.
people in the
Yes.
industry, because you never know, what added value they could bring, not just to your business but to your life.
Correct.
Networking
Correct.
has taken me places a degree never could.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think
Hands
networking is a degree, actually.
In itself, absolutely.
Because it's a constant evolution. Like even at this stage myself, I am learning how to shift through rooms. Right?
Yes.
You've went through
Yeah.
rooms, and now, like you mentioned, being in the kingdom and going back, you're shifting internationally through rooms that are not ordinary customs, right? You're talking about in Oklahoma customs.
Yeah,
and
no
then
mad
we
respects
go
to what
from,
you guys are doing.
you
That's
know,
crazy.
No, I absolutely. So yeah, we've been fortunate enough to establish and develop a relationship with the Amampondo Kingdom and King Damas and Dabase, Loviezwe. And it's been amazing, the type of people, the reception. To just be a part of that, man, has been so invigorating, so exciting, because we've figured out a way to incorporate industrial hemp and cannabis into an agro ecosystem.
Right.
So people who participate in that ecosystem can, grow food, eat the food, work in the industries, across the full
sustainable.
value chain
Yeah,
models,
yeah.
right? Get educated, get the skills transfer they need so they can be operators in their own industry, in their own markets.
Yeah. It's
Um,
like this was the test market for us all, more or less,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Oh,
you come from
yeah.
California by way of Oklahoma, now transplanting back to Africa
Yeah.
by way of Oklahoma, which a lot of people wonder, like, how do brands move or whatnot? There's a lot of different licenses and things that you could get and know about, and when you understand what your mission is, right, you'll start to seek out how these things can better suit you. And so going internationally like that, and then coming from here with Sam, starting in Oklahoma, and now she's going to other states and growing, like that's a huge thing to watch the growth of just cannabis allowing that to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is only the beginning. Like, I mean, I wonder if this is what they thought when they made like cars or something.
Dude,
You know what I
probably.
mean? Like, I was
Probably.
watching this show the other day, and they were depicting like a change at the turn of the century, like in 1900s, right? And it was it caught me off guard, because it's like watching the horses come down the paved street next to the car, and then the people are like, "Yo, I'll never see an ice box," and this guy's like, "Yo, no, we've got ice. It freezes here," and like they're like, "No such thing. We're country."
Right.
And I'm just like, "Yo, it must have been surreal when you're talking about like what we've experienced in this
Oh,
cannabis
dude.
industry, and when we say, hey, you can get a suppository if you can't use cannabis
Yeah.
orally." They're like,
Yeah.
"What? I don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, hey, like you could. Have you tried this
RSO
tincture to
and
add
belly
to your
button?
tea? Like, what do you mean add to my tea? Like you
Yeah,
could just,
or
this is-
cannabis infused sugar.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
that
Or
was a
like
huge
there's a
thing.
plethora. There was a brand you guys were talking earlier, like the edibles, the chips, and all of that different stuff. But when we were talking about, they had honey, and then they had what was the other one? I think it was just the honey. The honey butter is what it was. Yeah, it was a honey butter. It was ghee, but it was made with ghee, because you can't mix it with real butter. But it was really, whew. Let me tell you, boy.
P, let me. Can I just tell you a story real quick?
Oh, I love stories. Come on.
Sorry. Speaking of honey, so we're up in the mountains in
Is
Pondo
this
Land.
the hallucinogen honey?
No.
All right, listen, I said that because,
No.
guys, you don't know this, but I just read the story and watched it again yesterday of a guy talking about it, and I was just like, what? It's real bees. You can look it up, National Geographic. That's the type of stuff I be on. So,
No, so this is just a human story, right?
Okay.
Of this teenager we encountered who, grew up without a family, without things, right? And he lived under a tree that had wild bees. And he interacted with those bees over the course of a few years. He'd been stung hundreds and hundreds of times. And cutting to the crux of it is he now has tamed those bees, and he's got multiple hives, right? And he has to walk to get a bus to get to the internet to read and research bees and the type of flowers and foliage they need to eat from, right?
Yeah.
And then he's got to work and find odd jobs to buy the seeds to plant those for his bees, you know.
So they can pollinate.
And like the impact that my conversation with him had on me, it was like, you know, I find myself sometimes being complacent, right, of life, and you know, like, you know, I'm not always conscious of how other people may view my life or my, you know, the movements or transitions, right? And here I am looking at this kid and thinking, oh my gosh, like, this is an amazing human being to meet, and he's looking at me in that same way, right? But it was you talking about honey, and it just, this kid made such an impact, right? And then he made it all the way to where we were, right? So up in the mountains at this place called the Great Place, you know, which is where the king's palace is, where there's generations of kings and queens buried. Like, it's the spirit,
Ancestral.
the energy in that space is amazing, right? Like, the ceiling on the clouds comes so low to that mountaintop, it feels like you can touch the sky, right? And like 360-degree panoramic views of mountains and clouds.
Oh my
and
goodness.
like, and you're standing there in awe, and these people are like, what is wrong with you? Like, this is just home, you know?
Yeah.
Like, let's go
Right.
here.
It's your norm.
And you walk, and it's just more beauty, man. And
Such an experience.
it really has been. And, you know, this kid, he made it there uninvited because he wanted to meet us, you know, like, and just talk because he'd read somewhere about cannabis-infused honey, right? Like,
Crazy.
this kid in the village in the middle of nowhere, right? That's what he was doing, man.
That's
So
That is so crazy.
That's
it
so
just,
wild.
it
Let me tell you
impacted
this,
us in such a way.
If that doesn't like empower, inspire,
Literally.
encourage,
I was gonna say, that's such a
you know,
perspective shift.
It is, you know, and to be able to give the information that we knew about it, right? So he didn't have to go to Google, you know, and his trip was validated. You know, we got to connect him with, you know, some of the cultivators that, you know, Christian had relationships with, you know, so he could source genetics from them and get help
you're
from
speaking
them.
my language. I can't wait. Honey's my favorite.
Additive.
Like additive for sure. Like any natural sweetener I use is the honey. I enjoy it. It's my favorite. And like, that's an awesome story. That was an awesome story. It goes to show that the things that we, I don't want to say take for granted. I'd rather say that the things that we deem as our normal, you know, are so unnormal to others. And vice versa, things that seem unnormal to us are their normals.
Yeah.
And it's cool to
And we need to be
learn about
mindful.
that. Very
like,
mindful.
Yeah, that there's a human being behind every product, right?
Yeah.
Like every product we purchase, there's someone
Somebody
who put
was
effort,
inspired by
love,
this. Yes,
and
yes.
commitment into that, you know?
Brands, I mean,
Yeah.
may have, and it's like anything else. What I say, everything is made by humans, and that's always made as a subject for a mistake. And so, if you have grace, it's okay to know, like, there's a million of these, hypothetically, right? There's going to be one that had a bump because of how it was dropped in transplant and transfer. Like, that's the stats of that, you know? So when I'm aware, like, okay, cool, every one of them has an imperfection. One of them out of so many is going to have an imperfection. It makes it easier to go, okay, cool, I can give that person another shot. It's not the, you know what, this
can't
place,
deem
it doesn't have to be so real. I mean, it doesn't have to be, and I think
and
that's
we
what
can
cannabis
be
allows us to
absolutely,
take that chill
and
pill almost.
I think
Oh,
like
yeah, they have those now.
I
And
think
they do
there's
have
a
those now.
there's a
Shout
culture
out
to
1906
cannabis.
pills. My family and the women love them.
Yes.
I'm gonna look forward to
Everybody needs
get
to be
those
on
on. So like Mark said, if people are doing good products and good businesses are out here, and patients are liking things that are happening, this is what this channel is for, so we can highlight some of those and get them on here so you guys can understand what their missions
And
are.
it's literally
while
that
they're doing
easy.
stuff.
Like, it just comes up in conversation, and it's like, oh yeah, I know a brand that's good enough for that. And it's just like,
Yeah.
dude, it's so crazy to think that
It
this
goes
is
to
where
what
we're
you were
at.
saying about being a servitude heart, having that servitude heart, and being organic. Like, you just meet them all,
Yeah.
whether it was the patient, whether it was the dispensary owner, the manager, the grower, the processor. You're meeting them all to find how you can help them
Yeah.
better get that medicine to the people that actually need it, and vice versa, what medicine they're needing.
Right.
So, like,
Making that connection is literally the most important thing, you know. Trying to understand what you can bring to the table for a patient, especially, is one of the most gratifying things, honestly, because, like, okay, we now are able to acquire the knowledge to be like, okay, yeah, that's fine, I can fix this, like,
let's do it.
super easy,
Let's do it.
literally.
I
So
like
excited.
it. Man, guys, listen, this has been an amazing show this evening. I am so happy that we were able to have you both on.
It's amazing.
We've got Sam, a.k.a. Stoner Sam. You know, you can see her social platforms and all of that stuff down below. You know, I always want to be one of those guys like, click down below. You know?
We'll do the thing one day.
I will do all the things, right? But I tell you this, I am going to be an engineer and get that button. Beep, beep. It's going to be great. And so, and then we got Mr. Mark DuPont here with Cali Cannabis. We
Yes.
appreciate him, Mr.
Thank you.
International.
Thank you
Mr.
for having us,
Homegrown,
Barry. It's
teaching us guys with your
been a
legacies.
pleasure.
Like, thank you guys again for what you're doing, not only for yourselves and your families, but for the patients that you guys touch and you serve. So thank you guys. Let's get ready to get over here, get in on some loop. The man is amazing. Let's try out some of these bisons that we have
Absolutely.
and see
I'm
what we can
excited.
get in on these things. What do you guys say?
For sure.
Let's do it.
go.
Audio up. Audio up. Test, test, I hear you. I feel you. I can do anything. Test. What would you do? And my live crew. I'm talking to you.
See, hey, you better get you some. Hey, he'll play them damn keys, Ryan. He'll play them keys. Man, listen, this is this Bison Social non-alcoholic terp tonic. And let me tell you, I did the blood orange and cardamom. I like it. It's a mimosa terp infused. I think it tastes really good. Like, I can have this. It's really citrusy. It's like a pop. You can have this over lunch. You can have this as just a social drink. Like, this is an alternative for sure. I don't know. Let's see what it has. 60 calories, total fat, sugar. All right, it's not that bad. 10 grams, 25 grams of sugar. Yeah, I don't know about all those, but I can tell you, though, it tastes good. And so, like, I would have never thought of these flavors, but this is my flavor that I had. I'm not going to be the one to do it all. I'm going to let everybody else talk.
Which one did you get?
So what I had here was the cherry and lime terp tonic, and it was infused with gelato terps.
Gelato terps,
Super,
okay.
super nice, super light. Just as Perry said, very enjoyable drink you could have over your lunch or anything really. Yeah, very enjoyable. Well done, Bison. Well done.
I like this.
So I started out with cherry and lime, and then once I heard there was a blood orange, I had to switch to that because I love blood orange. And Nicole, you and your team killed it. Refreshing. This should be like a summer anthem for us.
I like it.
It can be infused into fruit infusions, cocktail infusions. I mean, the terp profile on this is spot on. This is awesome, really awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, young lady.
Tell me what you got over there.
So I'm sipping on the pomegranate, cranberry, and basil. The Mac 1 terp infusions on this are out of this world, dude. You crack these open and you can literally smell the terp profile.
Yeah.
And then you can go and match it to the side of the can because they're so helpful by telling you what terps are in there. Come on, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The taste is out of this world. Super, super great. It actually quenches your thirst. Super nice if you're in a sesh, got that cotton mouth going, Bison, you guys definitely hit the nail on the head in every aspect.
Yeah. Hey, guys, let me show you how, we were talking earlier, we were talking about evolution, and we were talking about how you have to grow, right? Okay, so this is, I want to say this is probably on their first run, right? The reason I say that is because, it's really good, and this is one of their original flavors. They just launched this last year, 2022. But this here, the cherry and lime, when they were mentioning about the terp profile on the side, I wonder if you can zoom in on this. This is the new addition that they've added to the can, and it tells you about the terps that are in there. So if you wonder about what they're putting in, it's not just, oh, hey, it's Mac 1 terps. No, this is the terp profile, and you can go and look and see if you like these ingredients and different things. And so I think that's really unique. Like Bison Social, like let's go. Nothing Left Brewery, this combo right here, guys. You did it. As we talked about unique products in the market, this is a terp product, not necessarily the cannabis, but it is in the market and it is influential. And so I take that. I think that's a cannabis product. You know what I mean? For sure. So thumbs up over here, guys. Let's do it again. I'm going to see about getting them on. That's what we're going to do. Probably should shoot at the screen. I ain't going to do that again. I'm working on my wing. Just don't Will Smith me.
Don't Will Smith me.
All right, don't Will Smith me.
And we're out, guys. See you guys next week. Stay tuned. Make sure you check on the pre-rolls. We're going to have some good guests, and you'll find out when I tell you. No.
Don't play with me.
Let me tell y'all.